Hey guys, it's Bryce with HangGear.com and Seven Sons Farms, and today we're going to show you how to install our new AutoRoost 3.0 we just came out with. And again, this is the installation video. We'll have a separate video on how to program the timer. But I had this AutoRoost actually already attached to the nest box, so I just took it off, put everything back in the box here. So we'll go ahead and unbox everything. We'll do everything according to the manual, the step-by-step instructions. If you open up the manual, you'll see here, you'll have like a parts list here on page 3, and then on page 2, also we have the required tools that are listed, which is going to be the Phillips head screwdriver, a 3/8 deep socket wrench, which we actually are just using an extension here today, but you can, like I say, we recommend the deep throated socket, along with a 5/16 deep socket as well, which we got that here, and then a 3/8 wrench. And then a pair of scissors, which the point of the scissors is to actually cut out this gap here, which has already been done here, but I'll go over that in the manual here. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install the actuator. I'm going to set our tools right here for now. We'll open up this box here, and this here is the main actuator right here. And here we got the zip ties, which is going to attach the roost bar to the AutoRoost itself. We sent a couple extra in here. There should be a total of 3, so we're just going to pull one of them out for now. And then we got a couple baggies here with hardware and our quick latch here, which will mount to the roost bar. But we'll go over that here in just a minute. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull out this bracket here, and this here is what needs to be installed to the actuator itself. So you do that with, inside this baggie here, we're going to have this little pin right here, along with the little cotter pin. Like I say, it's a little bent already because I installed it once already. But what we'll do is, again, the way this is going to work is what I always like to do, and again, we're installing this here on a small size nest box. If this was a medium or a large or extra large, this would mount in the center. But on our small size, it's mounted right here. So we're going to be mounting it to this hole right here. Depending on what nest box version you have, you may not have this this hole down here. We're actually doing away with that hole. It's not even needed. But it's going to be, if there are 2 holes here, you're going to mount it to the top one. So first thing first, typically we like to have the motor on that side of the nest box, or I should say on the left side of the actuator here, just like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and put this pin right on through. Again, it's the middle hole. There we go. Run it all the way on through. So as you can see, I got it installed there. And then on the other side here, I'm going to go ahead and install our cotter pin. Okay, so I got our cotter pin here installed. I'm just simply going to go ahead and bend this that away, like so. That's so it can't easily come out. So after that, it's time to install it to this hole here. And in order to do that, we're going to pull out, we're going to pull out our 3/16 bolt, and we're going to pull out the nylon lock nut here. Here we go. The first thing to do is go ahead and install the bolt right on through. Put the washer on first, and then the bolt, and then we are going to come over on this side. So I'm going to go right on in there, and then we're going to basically we're going to go ahead and put the bolt right on through this slot here, and then we're going to slide the washer on through on that side, and then we're going to thread this lock nut on right behind it here. And I know this is all slotted. This is a slotted hole. I would just mount the bolt kind of roughly in the center. It really honestly does not matter, but we wanted that adjustment in case if it was ever needed. So I'll go ahead and insert this here. Let's see. All right. that on. Now I'm going to take our wrench here, 3/8 socket, and we're just going to go ahead and tighten it down to where it's nice and snug, but we want to be able to still, basically, we want to be able to move the actuator from side to side easily. So that is the point. You don't want to snug it too tight, but just snug enough that it can still rotate. Okay, so now the next step, since we got this here installed, we're going to go ahead and open up this box here, and we're going to pull out the rubber grommet, which is going to be in this baggie here, the baggie that has the reflector on it. So this guy right here, and we're going to install it on this hole right here on the side of the nest box. So you kind of have to angle it in here. Actually, if we bring the camera in, might be able to show how it goes in a little better, but it's usually easier if you start on one side and then you just start rotating. I'm sorry if I'm kind of covering up, you just kind of have to stuff it as you go. And it's helpful too to take your hands and fingers from the other side and kind of help pull it through. Okay, and then next I'm going to take the cable, the wire here. So this is our cable coming from the actuator, and we're going to run it on through this grommet. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to open this up here. If we bring the camera right over here, we want to make sure we get this wire here, this cable up out of the way, and that is why we've included. That's why we've included these little, and we include up to 3 of them here, magnets here with the zip ties here. So basically these are just wire cable holders. So we can actually, if we pull up the manual here, you'll see how you can go ahead and use, again, you can use multiple of these magnets here, these cable tie magnets, to get that cable up out of the way, because we don't want it to get in the way of the laser on down the road. So I'll go ahead and do that right now. So I'm just going to grab parts of the cable. I'm just going to run cable tie on through and just zip tie it. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and just put it up here out of the way. There we go. Magnetize to the side of the nest box there, as you can see. Okay. All right, then the next step here, I want to make sure I'm staying on track, is we're going to go ahead and install the actual clip here that holds that's going to hold the red zip tie. So that's in this baggie here, and it's going to have 2 wood screws. And as you can see, on this roost bar, I already had it installed once. That's why there's already the 2 holes, but I typically install it on almost the center. Like, you're going to want to line this piece up with your actuators, whatever's straight on here. An easy way to do this, if you measure from here to here, say that's 2.5 inches, just going to measure about the same thing, 2.5 inches on your roost bar if you want to truly get it centered. But what I typically do is just eyeball it and just mount it right on. So that's what we did here. So I'm just going to start that, pull out my screwdriver. Okay, now that we got this guy installed, we're going to go on to the next step, which is, I believe, installing the spring. Yep, so we're going to install the spring here. We have instructions on how to install the spring on front rollout nest boxes and rear rollout. This is configured in the rear rollout position, so that's what we're going to do here. But again, there's a section, this section right here will show you how to do it on the front side. Oh, I'm sorry, this is the front side. This is the rear side of how to install the butterfly spring. So we got that here in the baggie. I'll pull this out. I'll have to remove these 2 magnets, put those back in the baggie because we're going to need those. Okay. Oh, and we're also going to need to get this 3/16 bolt and a nut out of this baggie as well. Whoops. So there you have it. It's very simple to do here to install this. As you can see, there's a little gap here on the spring, and there's more of the wire pieces on the left side versus the right side. So that's how we're going to want to slide this on. So we're going to come right up here to this bracket, and we're going to push it between the push the bracket between that gap that you're going to see on the spring. And we call that out there in the manual as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and take our bolt, and we're going to run it through, because this is just simply going to make sure that that it just stays in place, that the spring stays in place. So I got the bolt on through. I'm going to now go ahead and get the nut on as well. So it makes it a little easier if you just take the screwdriver. Yep. And thread it right on. Nice, just give it a nice snug fit. And then we're going to go ahead and twist this off to the side and come right down there. We install it right underneath the bracket. So there we go. We got tension now. Now, if this is probably coming down too hard for you, you can always tighten up these lock nuts on the bracket here if you want to slow that down. But this here feels really good. So after that, we've already done this part, but here in the manual, we tell you how to actually cut out the slot here in your curtains. That's where you're going to take a pair of scissors, and you're going to basically just cut a 1-inch gap, a 1-inch by 7-inch opening here, just for your actuator to protrude right on through. So I'll go ahead and, so since that's already done, we're good to move on to the next step, which is I'm going to grab one of the 3 included zip ties. We're going to go ahead and run it on through here. And I'm just going to run it through this is a quick attach zip tie. So if you want to quickly undo it, you just press that lever, it comes right off. And that comes in handy especially on a front rollout nest box. So I'm going to go ahead and, now since we got that installed, I'm going to lift up the roost bar. I'm just going to clip this into place. Now you can see it's fairly loose here, so that's where we're going to want to tighten it down even more. There we go. That's where we want it. So when the actuator turns on, it's going to lower it down all the way, and then it'll lift it back up to this position here. So if you ever need to quickly disconnect it, you just simply, again, on that zip tie, you just release it. So run it back on through. There we go. And it's up to you if you want to cut off some of the access. Again, completely up to you there. Okay, now that we got that installed, we're going to go on to the next step, which is installing the AutoRoost housing itself. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pull out that baggie there along with our plug. Set that back there for now. All right, here is the AutoRoost. First thing we need to do is take off the front cover. Okay. Now we're going to remove the front cover. Then we're going to our baggie here that has the mirror, or the reflector I should say, on it. And you should have 4 little bolts and nuts. 4 bolts here, yep, and then the nuts that go with them. So we're going to run all these. We're going to take 1 bolt on all 4 corners and just drop them on down through. Set that out of the way. Drop them on through. Okay. And then I just kind of give it a little shake, make sure all 4 of them come through on the other side. And then we're going to insert them through these 4 holes right here on the side of the nest box. Right here. So that one, that one, that one, and that one. And then the actual laser eye right here is going to go through this bigger hole that you see right here. So that's what I'm going to do right now is come on this side here. And then I'm going to, again, make sure all these are sticking through. And then I'm just going to kind of line these up. There we go. Just do it nice and easy. And then we're going to start 1 corner at a time. So I'm going to run my screwdriver onto this one. Yep, get a nice connected there. And then I'm going to thread our nut on the other side of that one. Okay. Now we're going to go over to this side. Bottom one. next, we're going to go ahead and put our cover back on. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and take, so this right here is the cable coming to the coming from the actuator here through this hole right here. So we're going to go and connect it now to the AutoRoost here. This bottom cable right here. Connect it right here. There we go, and it's actually a twist lock, so you're going to push it in, and then I should point that out. There we go. That's so it doesn't actually come undone here. And then with any of your extra twisty ties, you can go ahead and just wrap this up just to get it out of the way. But some of this, depending on what size nest box you have, you might need every bit of this. Like if you're installing the extra large and that actuator is going to be all the way over there in the center of the nest box, that's why we have so much extra cable here. But on the small size, I would just take one of your extra twisty ties. Okay. Then next, we're going to go ahead and take the AC plug, pull this out of the box, and then the top cable right here that's coming out of the actuator. Again, very important that you get these correct, but top cable is your power input. So here's your AC plug, standard 120 out for standard 120 outlet. Again, you press this right on in, and then you're going to twist it right on. There we go. So that is all good to go right into your wall. All right, we are on the home stretch here now that we got the actuator installed and then the actuator case installed, and we got all of our plugs running where they need to go. Next step is to take this plug and just go ahead and plug it right into your 120 outlet. Once you plug that in, you're more than likely, the timer is going to be turned off. You're more than likely going to have to hit the little reset button right over here. You're going to probably take a little screwdriver and just press that, and that's what's going to turn on the timer. Now in this case though, I'm going to plug it in, and it's probably going to go ahead and just start lowering the roost bar. So I'll plug this into the outlet. Yep, so it is going to go ahead and lower it. If it doesn't automatically start lowering, just hit that red button, and then she'll go, the little red button. Now that way this guy's come down, if you come right over here, you're going to see, I'll lift open the curtains here, you're going to see that laser right there shining down here on the other end. It's actually already reflecting on the side of the nest box. But your job here is to take now the reflector that has the magnet on the back side, just go ahead and install it onto the nest box, and I'll just go ahead and center it. Doesn't need to be centered, but that's what I do. And then you are all set. So everything's all set up here. The next step now is just to program your timer, which you can just follow the instructions right here in the manual or just watch our video that we have online. But that is how you install our new AutoRoost 3.0. Thanks for watching.